Good evening. The Red Bank Planning Board will come to order. This 10th day? Yes. September 2025. The time is 7:05. Adequate notice of this meeting has been posted at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, and mailed to the Asbury Park Press and the Chew River Times. No new cases will be heard after 10 p.m. The board will adjourn or recess at 8:30 p.m. Roll call.
Mayor Portman, absent. Brett Fitzgerald, absent. Christina Bonatakis. Here. Tammy Huso, absent. Lou Demento.
Here.
Barbara Boas.
Here.
Megan Massey. Here. Wilson Beebe, absent. Itzel Hernandez. Here. Frederick Stone.
Here.
And Brian Carnigan, absent.
Thank you. Minutes from the last meeting.
Can I ask a question? Are we going to stand pledge of allegiance?
No, ma'am, we don't usually at this meeting. Thank you.
All right. Minutes, yeah. You need a first.
Pardon?
You need a motion.
We have a motion on the minutes from August 13th.
So moved.
A second? Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Thank you. That is, now we're gonna move on to
The resolution.
the resolution.
Recommendation. The master plan consistency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The master plan.
Consistency for the area in need of rehab resolution from council. So I can take it over, Barbara.
Okay.
Okay. So a developer approached the council to designate an area block 39, lot 31 as an area in need of rehabilitation. As we were reviewing the areas surrounding the adjacent existing area in need of redevelopment, we decided to add block 1, lot 1 due to its existing condition of substandard condition and being underutilized, and the fact that it is also a brownfield. Borough Council has drafted a proposed resolution, which is in your packet, designating a site. Just to let you know that based on the local redevelopment and housing law, for the designation of rehabilitation, a proposal, a resolution is only needed from council for the designation. A formal study is not required, nor is formal notice required other than the public hearing at the council level. Therefore, this is in your packet. The 2 sites meet the 2 criteria out of the 6, and the 6 criteria is for area in need of rehabilitation criteria are deterioration or substandard condition, more than half the housing stock is 50 years old or older, pattern of vacancy or underutilization, persistent arrearage of property tax payments, environmental contamination, water and sewer infrastructure are 50 years or older. And so based on the review of the site, block 1, lot 1 meets the criteria for underutilization and environmental contamination, and block 39, lot 1 meets the condition of substandard condition and underutilization. And so the resolution is presented before you all to, if you agree that the designation is consistent with the master plan, then
And it's not even consistency with the master plan. It's just, you just have to, you can recommend to the council that they proceed, or you can make recommendations to the council if you wish. The statute actually allows for the planning board to do nothing, and then after 45 days, the council can make the designation on their own without the permission of the planning board. So in anticipation of the board agreeing that these are areas in need of rehabilitation, I did draft the resolution, which you have before you.
Anyone on the board have any questions? Any comments?
Public comments not required, but I leave that to the chair.
Yes, ma'am. Why not? If you can make it short and promise you can make it short, we can have some public comment on this if there is any. Yes, sir.
Public comment?
You have to come up to the,
I don't think any of the
With this.
they have to.
oh, you have to come into the little cubby hole there.
Mr. Poku's
Oh,
familiar
Mr.
with
yeah.
the witness stand that we have here for him.
Sit in this
Like this
booth
one.
right here, 'cause none of the mics work.
Yeah, I have been reminded of that in the
Mm.
past.
Over there, Mr. Poku. Thank you. Sorry, I did.
You was coming, it was.
And just press the red button, the button there.
That's this button here.
Yeah.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Name is William Poku, 90 Bank Street.
Thank you.
I'm speaking from the position of the president of the Red Bank NAACP. Basically, we think that this resolution is not appropriate at this time for two reasons. One reason is that the redevelopment plan that's already been approved is going to be challenged. And without sounding like a broken record, I mean, you understand that I've spoken many times that Red Bank has a missing middle. There's a lot of luxury buildings coming in. And these luxury buildings would not have been possible if there hadn't been affordable housing on the west side of Red Bank. And serendipitously, I see Mr. McKenna here today. And without him, we would not have Cedar Crossing. We owe that to the past mayor, Edward McKenna. So over a period of time, the Black population in Red Bank has dwindled from 20% in the year 2000 to something that's probably below a low 7%. And well, there's a lot of value in making Red Bank become more attractive to investors and all that stuff. But somehow at a certain point, you've got to stop. Pendulum swings too far to some side and it's got to come back. And by spot zoning those two areas, we're basically making it more attractive for more of what it is that we're saying basically is ruining the diversity of Red Bank. Now, recently, I was successful in arguing in front of the tax court of New Jersey, and the ADP basically is one of the reasons why Red Bank is going up in value, that this value is not real. I mean, people are coming out and purchasing Matchbox. Yes,
Your time is almost up.
right.
Please come to finish up your statement.
The conclusion is that you need to table this resolution, not act on it until you can involve more of the community, especially tap the NAACP to address the depletion of the Black population and the lack of middle housing in Red Bank.
Thank you. Or anyone else from the audience? Thank you. I'd like to close this part of the meeting. Do we take a vote now? A motion to accept this or reject it? Or,
Basically, you don't really have a right to table this per se. I mean, you could figure, you don't really have a right to table it. You sort of have to move forward if you find that the properties, if you don't have an objection to. You really don't have a right to table this. This really is just a question on whether or not you think that the properties do meet the definition. And if you do, then you're sort of obligated to proceed it. It's really because you're not the ones declaring this an area of rehabilitation, and it's an area of rehabilitation. It's not an area of redevelopment. It's up to the council to do the actual designation. And as I said earlier, the council could act on this with or without the planning board after 45 days of referral. So if you find that it meets the definition, you should proceed.
I'll just make a quick comment since I think everyone, we're thinking this through, and I will say, this took me time to digest for sure when I saw this come up, and Shauna will tell you that I asked her a lot of penetrating questions about this because I wasn't sure. And I don't like the idea of just adding these areas by their rehabilitation or redevelopment without some idea, without some broader planning sense. And I was comfortable knowing, voting for this on the council so far, to the recommendation here, because I knew that this board would take that consideration very seriously. But I also was ultimately persuaded by Shauna's kind of planning perspective on this, and that they are adjacent to a very large existing area of rehabilitation, which, by the way, is a much lighter touch than redevelopment and a very different process and designation. But also that if we're looking at these from the perspective of highest and best use, certainly the way that they are today, there is a parking lot, and there is a parking lot and a gas station, one of which the block 1, lot 1, has been kind of an eyesore forever, which the master plan actually did specifically speak about at length, and doing whatever we can to rectify. So I think that looking at these things are relevant now. And again, the adjacency to this area, I think, after speaking with Shauna, did have a lot of planning sense behind it, as opposed to looking at these as individual opportunities or anything like that. So welcome other thoughts though.
anyone else have any comments or questions to Shauna, or? I have a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Accept the resolution.
To accept the resolution.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Go down.
Roll call.
And then it's the second. Right, Christina Bonatakis,
Yes.
Lou Demento,
Yes.
Barbara Boas.
Yes.
Megan Massey,
Yes.
Itzel Hernandez,
Yes.
and Fred Stone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
And
Now the application.
the application. Public hearing.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Edward McKenna on behalf of the applicants, Lynn and Scott Smith. The property in question is located at 106 Layton Avenue, corner of Layton and River Street. And it's a pretty unique property in that it is very deep. In fact, it's 170 plus feet depth. And what they're seeking to do is to subdivide a portion of the property westerly side and create an opportunity for a single family home to go into that location. We have with us Joseph Kachuba. He is a professional engineer, also a professional planner. And he's going to be offering testimony about the lots in the surrounding area and the appropriateness of this. And we'll go through better, okay, and answer a bunch bunch of questions. Mostly just.
All right, so I'm just gonna mark in the following exhibits into evidence. A1 is gonna be the minor subdivision plan, and A2 will be the topographic survey. And then B1, as in board one, will be the T&M review letter of September 5th, 2025. And I will swear in the engineer. Do you swear testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, only but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your name, spell your last name for the record.
Joseph Kashuba, KOCIUBA, KBA Engineering Services, Manasquan, New Jersey.
All right, and you are a licensed engineer and a licensed planner, and your licenses are in good standing in New Jersey.
That is correct.
All right, let me just swear in Greg. Do you swear any testimony you're gonna give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. So our engineer, the board engineer is sworn as well. Go ahead.
I do have a couple of exhibits, Senator. My office prepared an aerial exhibit showing the property in question, highlighted. I have copies to hand out. I have additional copies to everybody in the audience.
Exhibit A3 will be the aerial.
And the second is a tax map exhibit, colorized, identifying all of the lots in the area not conforming with.
All right, that will be exhibit A4. Thank you. Thank you.
I prepared the exhibits. Exhibit A3 is an aerial of the property. You can see the unique shape of the property in the aerial as well as the plan that's been submitted. It is an oversized lot in the RB zone. It's 8,250 square feet, or 3,500 square feet is the permitted lot area. It's also a corner lot fronting on River Street as well as Layton Avenue. It's 37.5 feet wide along the Layton Avenue frontage. That's where the existing home is. You can see that in the aerial identified as 106 Layton. So the home is in that westerly portion of the the easterly portion of the property facing onto Layton. You have the open area on the west side of the property adjacent to the detached garage. That's the portion that we're looking to subdivide off. I've identified a green line on there, the proposed subdivision line, so you can see how it lays out the existing structure. It adds an existing one-story dwelling on the east end of the lot. It is non-conforming in front yard setback on the River Street side. That's the southern side, 10.87 feet where 20 is required. That's pre-existing. We're not changing that. The house is going to stay at that location. And then the side yard setback of the house on the north side is also non-conforming, 2.49 feet where 10 is required. That's pre-existing, not changing as a result of the application.
And what can I just ask you, and you may not know, what is that object that's sitting there right in the middle of the green line?
Box trailer, a trailer.
It's a trailer?
It's a trailer.
All right, so it's a movable object.
Not a-
Okay, that's what I assumed, but I wanted to make sure.
The existing one-story, two-car garage is on the east side of the lot. It's non-conforming. The front yard setback facing River Street is 12.32 feet where 20 is required. And the rear on the north side, 2.37 where 8 is required. Again, the garage on that north and south side, we're not really changing the lot lines there. We're just extending the proposed lot line along the northern side of the garage. So we're not creating this setback, we're just continuing the property line there. The only setback relief that we're creating is a side yard setback to the garage of 5.5 feet approximately. And that is as a result of in my opinion, better planning for the proposed subdivision in that the 8 foot is the side yard setback required to a single story garage there. We felt it more appropriate to widen the single family home lot where we could comply with the side yard setbacks there of 10 feet. The majority of the area, the side yard setbacks are not complied with, and that can be seen in the area. So in this particular case, we felt better planning to have a little bit of a smaller side yard setback to the garage where it's only 1 story, has a lot more air-like open space, so that where the home is constructed, that potentially could be a 2-story home. We abide by the 10-foot setbacks and provide a more appropriate home and spacing there, as well as a little bit of a wider home, which will look more appropriate along the street compared to something that was a little narrower. So trying to work around the existing constraints of that structure that legally exists. You can see on the tax map exhibit that we submitted, identified all of the lots in the area in yellow. First off, right in the middle of the lot in green is the lot in question. All of the lots surrounding that are marked in yellow are the lots that are non-conforming in lot width, which meaning that are less than 50 feet. I've identified that for both the RB zone, which is the zone in the center of the sheet, as well as the zone immediately to the east or to the west towards the river. That is the RB1 zone, which is a 4,500 square foot zone, but also has a 50-foot width requirement. So given that the block was surrounded by that zone as well and has a similar lot width requirement, we looked at the entire area. This block in question has 25 lots. Of that, 15 of those lots don't comply in width. 11 of them are 38 feet or less. So having a 30, 38 or 37.5 foot wide lot, very typical for the area. You see the lot or the block immediately to the east. Virtually every lot is 37.5 feet or narrower. And we're not creating the 37.5. 37.5 feet is what exists, it's what's facing on Layton. It's just simply that because we're subdividing the lot, we ask for a lot width variance for both of the lots. The only width variance or width here that we're truly creating is the 43-foot wide lot, which is in order to work around the existing detached garage, and wider than the majority of the lots in the block, with many of them being 38 feet or less. So in my opinion, I believe the 43-foot wide lot is more than adequate and also not out of character with the neighborhood. And we're also, when you drive down the street, we drive down River Street, you see the open area there. It's kind of got the broken, looks like a lot that is meant to be developed. It's been a vacant property for a substantial amount of time, but given the zone plan and the character of the neighborhood of having home space at about 37 feet, there is an area there where you would anticipate a home. So it's not going to look out of character on the streetscape of the Layton frontage. The 2 lots will be fully conforming in area. New lot that will contain the existing house will be 4,749 square feet, where 3,500 is required. So still a substantially oversized lot. It will still contain the garage and the existing single family home. The new lot 11.02, which will be the vacant lot. The only relief we're seeking there is that lot width of 43.5 feet or 15 required, about 87% of the required, but again, wider than the next 4 lots to the east, I'm sorry, to the west, as well as the majority of lots in the block, as well as the blocks around. In my opinion, I believe the variances here can be granted under both the C1 and C2 criteria. The C1 criteria is the hardship criteria, specifically the pre-existing nonconformities here and the setbacks that are associated with the pre-existing structures. So the front yard setback of the existing home, the side yard setback of the existing home, as well as the front and side yard setback attached garage. Those are all there. We're not changing any of that. I do believe those are unique situations, unique to this property. and not, and they do create exceptional practical difficulties. And we're not exacerbating those. We're only creating a lot line to the west side of the garage. I believe that variance can be granted under this criteria, as well as the lot width variance for the new lot. Where we're promoting the purposes of zoning found in section 2 of the municipal land use, specifically promoting purpose A, to guide appropriate use and development in a manner which promote public health, safety, morals, and general welfare, as well as the promotion of appropriate population densities. So a paramount purpose of zoning is promoting general welfare by developing in accordance with the neighborhood character and zone plan. The court case talk about that involving specifically compliance with the zone plan and zone densities. So that if proposed development would put the land more in conformity with the community's development plans, it would advance the purposes of zoning. Specifically, this is a substantially oversized lot at 8,250 square feet, about 2.5 times the area, little less than 2.5 times, and providing lots that are closer to the density and area anticipated in your zone plan promotes the zoning, promotes an appropriate population density. In addition, in my opinion, the general welfare is promoted by allowing that little bit of relief adjacent to the detached garage, where having that setback is more appropriate, allowing the home to have control of the side yard there on the east side of the home, in between the detached garage and the property line and the home, having a 10-foot setback there, having that part of the single family home's property, I think is more appropriate, and just having a slightly undersized side setback to detached garage, I think is more than appropriate spacing and visually on this property. So I do believe the application does promote the purposes of zoning and meets the positive criteria. Next, we look at the negative criteria. I don't believe there's any substantial detriment to the public good as a result of the application. It'll comply with height, it'll comply with coverages. The proposed lot is slightly under 50 feet in width, so is the rest of the neighborhood generally. So I believe it's appropriate in scale and design for the area. I also don't believe it'll have substantial negative impact of the zone plan or the zoning ordinance. It respects the existing zoning framework. It advances the planning objectives of provided for in your zone plan. Creates no adverse impact on the surrounding neighborhood. So for all those reasons, I think the variances can be granted as requested.
What about parking?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's kind of important here.
No, when you've met with the client previously, and the plan is to have parking, 2 cars.
They don't have.
That is correct. So we're not asking for a parking variance. We would anticipate a 3 or 4 bedroom home here that requires 2 parking stalls. And we would provide 1 in a garage, 1 in front of the garage.
So I'm sorry, so the house is going to have a garage, the new house?
Yes, we would stipulate the house would have a garage.
Contained within the structure.
Right, it'll be an attached. Okay, so that'll be a condition of approval, attached 1-car garage. 1-car garage, and there will be a space for a second car in front of that garage, is basically what you're saying.
That's correct.
So I just have one thing on that. So the garage, if you're having a front entry garage right in front of this house, you don't have enough space to have a parking space in front of that garage. Given the setback of 10 feet that you have right now, you'd have to have a minimum of 18 feet from the front setback or front property line to the house.
Correct. So I would anticipate, we've shown the maximum building footprint on here. This is the actual footprint of the home that we constructed. We would have an 18-foot minimum front setback to the face of the room.
Okay, so that just has to be stipulated in the resolution that
Say that again in English?
they'd have to have a minimum setback from the front property line to the building of 18 feet
18.
to meet the minimum parking space requirements.
Okay.
So the face of the garage door pretty much to the property line has to be 18 feet, so that the parking space is totally contained within their lot.
So it's got to be an 18-foot setback to the house
Correct, essentially, yes.
to allow for the parking. Okay,
But also if it's attached garage to the house, then there's an issue with the front parking. The front yard.
Yeah.
If it's attached, well, and how the parking is arranged, because it's only allowed to be arranged from the side or the rear.
True, yes, so
So you kind of run into
you need
that.
a
variance.
waiver for that
Yeah.
Yeah.
part of the ordinance.
Yeah. In fact, we would need is design
For parking in the front yard.
waiver for parking in front yard.
Yeah. That's,
which, and by the way, I went by the structure 4 times today and 3 times earlier. And there's a great deal of park in the front yard in that area. So it's not uncommon for cars to be parked in the front.
it may not be uncommon, but it's not legal. That's not something we can deal with here. But I have a question. What is the square footage of the present existing house?
I have about 1,576 square feet is the footprint, and it's 1 story, so it's about a
That's what the existing house is. And what's the square footage proposed for the new house, not counting the garage?
So we don't have a specific design of that home at this point. We're looking to just subdivide to create the lot. I would anticipate when we talked about it, probably an 1,800 to 2,000 square foot home at max.
2 stories.
2 stories.
Okay, the front house is more the average of what the rest of the neighborhood is, that size? No,
The typical is like 14 to 17.
in that neighborhood, okay.
Yeah, and also I really would like your opinion on the tree that's there, because it's an existing beautiful tree. I don't actually see it as a tooth or whatever you described it, that it looks like a vacant lot that's ready to be built on.
I think if it's within, well, it's not located on the plan, so I can't say for certain, but if it's located within the buildable footprint, they're technically allowed to take it down.
Take it down. And there's no like, oh, because it's not a shade tree, it's just a tree. Okay.
There's
Well,
something now
if
with the
it's-
state?
Well, it's different because it's going before the board, so. If a tree removal is a result of a land use board application, they're not required to do
A replacement.
tree permit removal.
Any questions from members of the board?
Yeah, we will comply with any shade tree requirements that's in the accompanying application. Actually, the only tree that we anticipate removing is the one that's middle of the lawn. And it's an older tree, it's I don't know why. It's I won't say it's deteriorated, but it's not in the greatest condition. But, and of course, we would, Greg, have an apron and instead of going into the garage and everything else.
Okay, and just so the board's aware, there's a street tree requirement. There's 4 trees required on River Street and 1 tree required on Layton shade for shade trees.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Any questions?
May I speak?
You're gonna come on up here,
Over here.
and we're gonna swear you in.
You want me to take 5 minutes or something? I mean, I've never done this before, so.
No, we're just gonna swear you in.
Okay,
Do you swear any testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Just state your name for the record.
Nelson,
And Ms. Nelson, what is your address?
166 River Street.
Go ahead.
So the Borough of Red Bank just gave us a $10,000 corner and they put up some incredible pieces of whatever you want to call those things, and they put screws in them so that these incredible pieces that take that corner are screwed, and the traffic that's going in on River and Layton right now, that is Layton, right? Is so frightening and scaring because the people that are coming in this new $10,000 corner do not know to stop. Is that a four-way stop? So they slow down and the car from behind doesn't know it's not a stop. So we've had already one near accident. Do we know about the $10,000 corner? I don't know how you call it, what that word is.
So,
Is that,
so that wouldn't have anything to do with this
I'm
app.
just trying to share with you some information because I've lived there for 20 years.
No, I understand, but we just asked that you stated with the application.
So I'm understanding that when you're coming in that very busy street of River, which is a school down there, all that traffic that's going on right now is in front of this piece of property with the huge tree that they're talking about. They're slowing down. So if we do a two-story, which they're asking for, coming down River, it's going to obstruct all the familiarity because the house that's there now is a ranch. It's one story. So when you're looking at coming down River with the school buses and everything, this building that they're putting up is going to obstruct the whole view. And it's scary and it's frightening because we have traffic, we have a guard patrol, we have walkers, and that piece of property that they're talking about, they're going to change it. So when you're coming down River, you're not going to be able to see what's going on because of the new construction. And if the new people want to put up a fence or something, that's just going to add to the confusion of that piece of property. It's not going to work. I've lived there for 20 years. I've walked my dogs there twice a day. I've seen that piece of property and it's beautiful with the big old tree. It can't hold a house with the confusion of that very, very busy corner,
So
a little ranch.
I would ask our engineer to opine whether or not he believes erecting this house would create a line of sight issue.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna be within the visible drive aisle, so it's gonna be set back. They're saying 18 feet now. Right now, they're showing it at 10. So I really don't think that it's gonna have an impact on sightlines within driving down the street.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Greg, I think you want to go.
Just,
There's another member of the public who wants to speak. That's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Coming from behind.
Okay.
All right, sir, I'm going to do the same thing. Do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your name for the record.
SHAWN, middle initial M, last name McInerney, McInerney.
And your address?
98 Layton Avenue.
98 Layden. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, and I'll be brief. I just want to first just thank the board for your service because prior to moving to Red Bank, which was 7 years ago, I served on a local board in my community, and I appreciate you giving your time and looking to improve our community. Sometimes that service is underappreciated. Just 4 comments on the application, and I'm not an engineer, but it just seemed to me, looking at the application, that there's a request for 5 different variances. That seems like a lot of variances for what is just one home, to shoehorn into what is a relatively small piece of property. I do agree with the comment that was made that the property contains a magnificent tree, and I did disagree that the tree is in deterioration. I'm not an arborist, so it's just my opinion, just like it was your opinion. But I have not seen any state of decay, and as a matter of fact, I've been told it's a magnolia tree, and I have not seen a tree like that on the west side. Again, I'm not an arborist, so I can't speak as an expert, but it is, in my opinion, a very magnificent tree, and I think it would be a shame to lose that. Parking, we heard some testimony about parking. Parking is at a premium on the street, and I see it every day, being a resident in Red Bank, and so I would disagree that there's ample parking along the curbsides, because that's not always the case. Perhaps that sometimes during the day, but I can tell you in the evening that is certainly not the case, at least in my opinion. Again, and just in terms of the testimony we heard about the width of the existing lots, that may be very true, but I think it's important to bear in mind that many of those homes were constructed well over 100 years ago, and we live now in a very different time than what the rules were, or the compliance or the enforcement was 100 or 120 years ago. So I would just ask the planning board to take that into consideration as well.
So the only thing I'm gonna say, just so you know, that
Yes, sir.
I'm certainly not saying the board has to approve this application. There are clearly variances, as you point out, that the board could find are not warranted here because they're more or less is being addition, which is creating his aspiration of these variances. So the board definitely could, but they can't deny it off of parking because the applicant's saying that they are going to provide the number of parking spaces that are required by the ordinance. So there's no parking variance.
I understand that, but we did hear testimony earlier to that effect, so I just wanted to provide counter testimony because we heard testimony from Mr. McKenna saying that you drove by the property several times today and you didn't see any issues in terms of, I don't want to.
The only reason I base this, I just don't want, the board can't deny it over a parking issue
Understood.
if they're providing the adequate number of parking spaces.
I just think it's important for the record.
That's fine.
Okay.
And I just have to keep the record clean that they can't deny it for that
You're
reason.
doing your job and I
Thank you.
appreciate that. And I'm trying to do my job as well.
You're fine.
So that's all I have to add. And again, I just thank you for your time and I trust that you'll make the right decision. Thank you.
I should add, with respect to parking though, they do need variances as to where they're locating the parking.
Yeah.
So that's a legitimate issue. But the number of spaces they're telling you they can comply with, so.
Thank you.
Evening.
Let me just swear you in, sir. Do you swear your testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? And just state your name for the record?
Sure. Mark Taylor, 19 Tilton Avenue.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Taylor, your address again?
19 Tilton Avenue.
Thank you, go ahead.
I will endeavor to be brief. I do have a couple points to make. And I'll echo the sentiments of Mr. McInerney. Thank you for your service. I have been on that side of the dais and it is not always easy. So I know many of you, not all of you. Some of you may know me, but here on my own behalf as a homeowner in the neighborhood, I'm also a member of the Board of Ed at the high school. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Board of Ed, just need to make my Ben Forrest disclaimer. To what Vicky was alluding to is an extremely busy intersection. There are traffic calming devices further down Layton. However, this is the primary intersection for access to the primary school. Is in second grade and we come off Tilton onto River to go down to the school. It is the primary thoroughfare for buses, people driving their kids to school, and for pedestrians. It is heavily trafficked. The town did just install some corner carve outs to put up these plastic sticks to kind of hopefully calm the traffic going through, but it does impact the sight lines. I know we're not here for that, but you have to understand the character of the corner.
I understand, and I'll just say again, so that everybody understands, we can't deny the application based upon perceived increase in traffic at the intersection. It's permitted use for the site.
I'm not.
It's just people keep talking about it, about the corner and the intersection and
Understand.
But
what is going
I just don't want the board to get trapped into thinking that they can deny this application based upon something to do with traffic to and from the site or how traffic will be impacted by this, because they can't.
Understood.
So I just ask that people stay away from that subject because it's nothing the board can consider.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm speaking as a concerned homeowner in the neighborhood that traffic in that intersection is extremely busy. If you're adding another curb cut and another driveway, you increase the potential for people trying to turn into or out of the driveway with a lot more pedestrian and vehicle traffic already flowing through that intersection. That's the key. Just a question, is the existing two-car garage being relocated, destroyed, it's staying as is?
Staying in.
Okay. Another point of clarification, I think you stated the square footage of the existing house is over 1,500 square feet.
Footprint of the home, I don't.
I can tell you it's 912 square feet. It's a very small. My two-story home on the other side on Tilton is 1,576 square feet. It is nowhere near that. So it's a very small corner property, very cute property with an established magnolia, beautiful tree. I would hate to see that destroyed for the purposes of squeezing another home in. Between this existing property and Sean's property is a property that was shoehorned in. It very out of character for the neighborhood. It's extremely narrow. It has this driveway right to the curb and, a driveway and a garage built under that structure.
It doesn't fit, it doesn't look good, and it's not how the homes in the rest of the neighborhood are constructed. On River presently, between Tilton and Layton, there are already 8 houses. The craziness is that I got a 200-foot notice. I live on the other street, the next intersection. I have a deep lot too. I think I called it the notice. And I'm on literally opposite sides of this intersection lot. And my lot touches this lot. I have 7 neighbors because I have a deep lot. It doesn't make sense to put another property here to shoehorn another property into an already cramped neighborhood. There's lots of people with lots of vehicles that park on the street at night. You cannot find a spot. Double parking, constantly people coming up, getting dropped off, picked up, etc. I know the property was rented for a time. I don't know if it's still being rented. I haven't seen the tenant who was there. Trying to be sensational, but since the murder last year, there was that person vacated. There's 2 cars with Texas plates in the driveway since then. I don't know if the applicant is local. I would love to see this type of application coming from somebody who was owner occupied. Doesn't seem to be the case. So those are my thoughts. I don't think it fits the neighborhood. I don't think it makes sense to try to simply cash grab because Red Bank's a hot real estate market and build a new structure there where it really doesn't fit the neighborhood or the existing lot.
All right, so again, I just have to, and it's my job to just keep the record clean. The board cannot deny an application based upon the fact whether the applicant lives at the premises or doesn't live at the premises. If they were a owner, home occupied, it doesn't make a difference. From a zoning and planning perspective, the board cannot deny the application for that purpose. They should not even consider the comment. So I'm just saying that to keep the record clean.
I understand. I've sat in your seat as well. I represent planning boards as well. I'm just, again, speaking from the concerned homeowner perspective. These are my opinions and the board has their guidelines that must follow. I understand that. I respect that. Thank you.
Are there any other? Mr. Poku?
I'm going to swear you in, sir, and ask for your name and address again. Do you swear any testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I will.
And just state your name for the record.
My name is William Poku, and I live at 90 Bank Street.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very, very close proximity with the subject property. And as the president of the organization, I'm allowed to make executive statements which are subject to ratification at our next meeting. I'm in full support of the application. First of all, because of the counsel for the applicant. As I spoke earlier about Cedar Crossing being one of the things that he put in here, there's an opportunity that when he comes in later for zoning, maybe we can negotiate something about having affordable housing and whatever. By subdividing, it creates another opportunity for that prospect. And I trust him that he's gonna do the right thing. Now, one other thing that you also have to understand is that there's a trend of high density in that area. When I first moved into that area 40 years ago, there were wide, large spaces and whatever in the area. And they've been cramped with more housing. And that's the trend, we need more housing. So I'll just leave it at that I fully support the application. And this is an endorsement from the NAACP.
Can I make a comment?
Just a couple of technical things. So one technical item, I know you mentioned the 5.5 foot setback to the garage as needing a variance. There's also a 2.37 foot setback on the northern side to the new property line that you're extending out. Just as a technical variance, just wanted to mention it, make sure it was in the record.
And to be clear, my testimony was, we're not creating the 2.37, we're extending it, so we are exacerbating it, but it is already.
You are requesting that variance. Okay, just making sure. The other thing, there's a couple of other comments in here that are really more applicable to if, you know, you had a full house build shown on the plan. Will you comply with all the other comments in my letter with respect to water vulnerability fee calculations and you know, AC unit screening and all that stuff? Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what is the size of the encroachment, so to speak, of the garage into what would otherwise be a rectangle? How deep is that?
So that portion, essentially, rather than it being a 50-foot wide lot, it's about 6.65. If we were to, right now, the garage is a foot or so past that line, give or take.
That makes sense, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I guess if the newly formed or newly proposed lot was a rectangle, it would have 50 feet of frontage, whereas it has, or, yeah,
That is-
40 and change because of.
And that line would cut about a foot into the garage where it stands.
Got it, thank you.
Megan. Megan, it might not even be relevant. No, I was just thinking this would have been, to William's point, who left, this would have been a perfect opportunity for something like an accessory dwelling unit. If this was owner occupied, you could have built like a small, really cute thing for a mother-in-law to move into, and then that would be, you know, moving the needle with infill of housing, different housing types and such. But the way that this is set up, it really is shoehorning, and you kind of gave yourself away when you said the house would be like 2,000 square feet, which is massive in this neighborhood. To plop that right in there, it just doesn't fit with the existing neighborhood character, especially when the house in front is a ranch. And I realize there's no way to remove you're kind of stuck with this existing garage, because then you have an issue with parking at the front house, right? Because there's no scenario where you're removing that garage to make it make sense.
No, I understand what you're.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we want to retain that garage.
Yeah.
But we understand the issue. And by the way, you bring up a very good point. And that is that we can't necessarily predict what will be built there, but of necessity, it's not gonna be 2,000 square feet. There's no way.
Yeah.
And I think that realistically, you're probably more likely about 1,500 square feet.
It's big.
And coincidentally, the mother-daughter idea is good. Maybe that's where it will go that way, a lot to say, but.
I would only offer that the mother-daughter scenario, if we're built on the single lot, would actually.
Yeah.
create use variance.
We don't hold that yet.
And
No, Sean.
if you are reducing the front or increasing the front setback, so you're gonna have 18 feet in the front yard, you're not requesting any rear yard setback variance, correct?
No.
So essentially the building is going to shrink by 8 feet at least.
Yeah.
From the front to the back, so 8 feet by, 25 feet wide building right now.
You're right, Brett.
And someone could come in later on after subdivision, and ask for an application for variances with the newly subdivided lot
We've
to
seen
put a
that.
house on, so, and then we go to the Board of Adjustments.
Literally just see.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. So that could very well happen. I mean, again, there's certainly issues with this application. It's just a question of whether you find that the criteria has been met to the benefits outweigh the negatives on it. They can't just say, well, we don't want to move the garage, so therefore we're not going to move the garage.
Yeah.
That doesn't work that way, but.
Are there any more comments from the audience? Thank you.
was just gonna ask, maybe Greg, can you list or Shauna, the variances that would be required for this simply as the subdivision, not a proposed structure?
So you're saying if they didn't have any building on it?
Yeah, taking it as a vacant lot for now, what are the variances to get the subdivision?
So really it would be lot frontage. And I think that's really it. Oh, no, then you have the existing frame garage setbacks, 5.48 feet on lot 11.01. And then you have the 2.37 foot setback on lot 11.01 for that same garage.
I mean, basically, it's Greg, it's on page 2, item 1, 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 are all variances that they need to get the subdivision, correct? All right, so there's a series of them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's 5 variances.
Yeah, and the first one is just, those are all pre-existing conditions
Understood.
because they're subdividing, they need.
They become relevant, exactly.
Gotta say, we only created two variances. All the others are pre-existing.
So 1.2 and 1.3 are the ones that you're creating.
That's correct.
And then, of course, you're gonna agree to the conditions about when the new house is built, they're gonna have to agree to those conditions.
But then are we granting them a variance for the front setback?
You should, if you're gonna grant the application.
But what's tricky is that if we grant them these variances, then it forces them to build something like 102 on Layton, not within the context of like what any of the other houses in the neighborhood look like, with like the garage and then on top, you know, like the attached garage.
I don't know they're really forced to do anything because
Well, no, because of the 18-foot setback.
I know, I understand what you're saying, yes, okay, yes, you're right.
So like
That would be a condition of approval that wouldn't be waivable by another board, correct? They would have to come back here and ask for relief from that.
But then, so if they didn't receive that relief, they would, okay, another word for force, their design would need to have the attached garage, just like that building
Yeah.
in 102, which is totally out of context with, and I know one of the planning, it needs to be in,
Either the rear,
but yeah.
orientation of the
I mean, listen, if the board is having an issue with what type of house is gonna be put on this, you are allowed to say, look, we need to see what this house is gonna look like.
Yeah, if I could vote like that, I would, because it's tricky to vote on a vacant piece of property. I love the tree. I realize trees get mowed down all the time, unfortunately, and I know we can't vote on that because of the tree, but this house could be anything. Or it can just stay a vacant piece of land, but it's tough to say, oh, we approve this, and then 2 years from now, some ginormous thing, comes in. It's a totally different board, or it just goes to the zoning board, and then
Which is
bada
where it
bing,
would go.
where it would go, and then it's like, well, okay, I guess we lost that opportunity.
Too late to offer, then you close.
We'll reopen.
Okay.
Since the board's commenting now, yeah.
We have
I can't take it off your phone, Mr. McKenna.
suggesting that, but I can show it to you. And this is essentially what.
But I don't know, because we can't, unless you're gonna, we can't, we can't, you know that, we can't take it off your phone because it can't be marked into evidence, it's an image on your phone. So I appreciate the effort, but
Snapshot of it.
can you print it out?
No, but I mean, I would like to think that the discussion that we've had with the client and with time is pretty sensitive to what comments that we're hearing about. So I don't think you will beat this with these like, but we could do is there a, an elevation for you and come back with it. If you think that is something that the board would talk about.
Up to the board. Well, they think they need to see it.
I personally think that might be a little easier. I'm not saying that that would automatically go through if you bring pictures back that show us exactly, but it's pretty hard for me to imagine. First of all, you call this a unique piece of property because it was 170 feet deep. It's not in Red Bank. Lots of them, I mean, where I live, there's some of them are 200 feet deep. And where I lived when I was a kid, it was 215 feet deep. I mean, it's not unusual to have 170 feet deep. The shape of this property is with the house and is unusual because of where the garage is located. But I don't know. I think there's a lot missing.
You have to put it in context. For example, I know where you live, I know where I live. I have 200 feet of depth.
Yeah.
But I've got an acre of property. And I only have 200 feet, this is 170.
Where the house where I lived on Spring Street, where I lived on Spring Street when I was a kid, that was 215 feet deep. I mean, and that whole block is that way, the whole street is that way.
Well, I understand, Doc.
It's not unusual.
What has been, as far as the depth of the lots and the plot, in general, that is the modus of the neighborhood, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Doesn't make it good.
Getting a variance on locus, and at that time, we made basically the same argument.
They came with plans.
For what it's in the neighborhood, appropriate for the size of the adjoining lots, et cetera. If the board would like, I'm sure we'll be happy to bring back an elevation of what we anticipate a house would look.
I also agree that that would be helpful, but I will just make one comment since you are going to go through the effort of doing that. I will just say personally, I am held up on this garage because I think Megan also addressed this.
Yeah.
If you look at the patterns of the neighborhood, I think if the lot were a rectangular, if that were not an impediment, I think that would give you the space to do something that had a much more consistent pattern for the neighborhood. So I'm very open to seeing an elevation to show me different, that you can still attain that with the proposed subdivision. But I would just make that comment if that is for consideration. It just seems like that would be a much easier space to work with and be more consistent.
And I agree with that comment. The issue, of course, where that arises, and I think Megan touched on it, if you get rid of the garage, then you have to deal with parking for the house in front. So that might create a parking variance, which also needs to be dealt with. But I agree that the garage is an issue in this case.
You demolish it and make a new one?
It's a possibility. I mean, has the applicant considered that, demolishing the garage and trying to reconfigure parking on the front lot?
Well, then they'll send that to the zoning board to construct.
We can certainly discuss it. We could look to relocate the garage closer to the other homes to make a wider lot. It sounds like the board would like to at least see how this lays out or have us
Right.
look at something.
I mean, you're obviously hearing people are concerned about the garage, and it's more than one board member, so
Yeah, if it's a part of this application.
it would be part of this application. It would,
If they demolish the garage
if they
and put it in the new
if
location.
they demolish the garage as part of this application, they would have to supply parking as part of this application
Okay.
because it would create the variance in the subdivision because they're eliminating parking.
Okay, I was worried that it would send them now.
No, it wouldn't send to the Board of Adjustment. They would still stay here.
It's interesting, there's another option. For example, if you demolish the existing garage, replaced it with a one-car garage, and then had access to, once again, to.
Stack the parking?
Correct.
Yeah, I think that would be.
Yeah, I mean, that's an option, and I think, I mean, I'm not gonna say what the board's gonna say or not say, but I think that might be a.
Garage with parking stall next to it, and you'd also not be parking in front yard, so there'd be no relief needed.
There you go. So consider it. Again, I don't want to speak for the board members, but I think that's basically what we're hearing.
Yeah,
So, if the board. Like to explore that possibility, you're gonna have to,
You don't have to renotice. I don't think you need to renotice. Why would you need to renotice? Oh, if there's a new if you're creating a new variance, then you can, yeah. Okay, I agree.
I'd rather over notice than.
That's fine.
That not give adequate notice.
And I'm gonna, I know Mr. McInerney had indicated that he wanted to speak again, so it might behoove everyone to hear what he has to say. So that he doesn't come up at the next meeting and say, hey, you guys didn't listen to me, or I had some other idea that you might want to incorporate.
I might say that anyhow.
So is there, I'm sorry, is there a motion to reopen the public?
Yes.
Ooh,
second,
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and you're still under oath, sir.
Yes, I understand, and I'll be brief. I'm just a little confused about some of the testimony I heard this evening now, because first we heard testimony that the proposed house was to be constructed would be approximately 2,000 square feet, 3 to 4 bedrooms. Then we heard subsequent testimony that it actually would be a 1,500 square foot home. I'm not sure what the configuration would be of the bedrooms, but I'm confused as to what this application actually is requesting. So, yeah, I guess so it's perhaps more of a comment than a question.
Yeah, no, it's a legitimate thing, and I think the issue is that they don't really know what the house is gonna look like.
Agree.
And they acknowledge that at the beginning, they don't know, because I would imagine, and I don't know this for a fact, that they're not gonna build that house, they're gonna look for someone else to build it, so that's why they're not coming in and saying this is what the house is gonna look like. Which is normal in a subdivision,
But we did hear testimony that the proposed structure would be 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet.
right, but I don't know, I mean, if they said that, I don't know how they know that.
We apply with the parking, the 2,000 square feet was obviously an error, given the footprint, could not do 2,000.
Okay.
So again, I'm just a little confused.
So what they're proposing now is that they'll come back at the next meeting with some sort of an elevation or something, and maybe they can give us a little more detail about the house.
And maybe that would provide clarity to the application.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
So we'll see you at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
And
thank you.
yes, Mr. Taylor, and Mr. Taylor, you're still under oath also.
I just wanted to piggyback on what the chairwoman said about unique lots. This lot is almost identical to my lot, which again is on the other street. So I have a 40 by 150. It's not uncommon in the neighborhood. I know River, they're shallower and they squeezed a lot of houses in. As I said, there's already 8 houses on that block. But my lot, the one next to me and the one that's currently being built on 11 Tilton are all deep lots. So it's not, and then if you go on Catherine on the other side, they're fairly deep lots. So it's not uncommon for 170, 150 foot deep lots in the neighborhood. Thank you.
All right, so Madam Chair, I believe the next date available is October 22nd, which gives the applicant, correct? Gives the applicant, is everyone available on October 22nd from your side, Ed? Yes? All right, and you're gonna renotice?
Yes.
All right, so I guess we need a motion to carry the application to the meeting of October 22nd, and the applicant's offering to renotice.
May I have a motion?
So
Second?
Second.
In favor?
I,
All right, so Mr. McKenna, just so I have it in my head, if you're renoticing, I guess we'll be starting anew at the next hearing, or if it would be a continuation, or is it gonna be a new applicant? It would be a sort of restart.
It depends on what the plan looks.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I would say we'll probably restart.
Okay.
We've heard the board, we've heard the public, and, we appreciate people's comments. We're not insensitive to it.
Right.
So we're gonna try to work the darndest that we can to satisfy the board and the public.
Sounds good. See you in October.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Make a motion to close.
May I have a motion to close the meeting?
No move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Okay.
That I agree that I would be